95% of people who come in my office think that joint custody means you have the kids 50% of the time. Nothing could be further from the truth. Joint custody has nothing to do with the amount of parenting time each parent has. It only means that the parents have to consult with each other in a broad sense in matters involving major decisions affecting the health, education, and welfare of their children. What schools do they go to? Do they need therapy? Any major medical treatment? Many times none of those things even come up in a post-divorce situation. The kids go to public school, they go to regular doctors, and the parties are the same religion, let's say. Courts are generally hesitant to split children's time equally, preferring that they have one place they can call more, where they rest their hat and do their homework. Although if parties agree to split the time, the court will generally approve that. But the most important thing I tell my clients is how much time you're spending with the child, and that's independent of whether the arrangement is called joint or sole custody. Parenting time, the more of it, the better. And don't worry about labels, but people are so worried about labels that they lose the forest for the trees or the trees for the forest. And similarly, I have people come in and say, well, I want sole custody so my husband doesn't get to see the kids. Well, sole custody has nothing to do, just like joint custody, has nothing to do with the amount of time you spend with your children. A sole custodian, a person who doesn't have joint custody could spend more time with his or her children than a person who has joint custody. Each case is different. That's why I tell people over and over again, don't compare your case to what X down the street or Y around the corner had. Each divorce case is like a snowflake because everybody's life is completely different. It's unique and different, and that's what makes this area challenging, is that dealing with all these unique circumstances. People are always worried and concerned as well when they're talking about custody, about the impact of a boyfriend or a girlfriend during a divorce proceeding or right after it. But let's say during a divorce proceeding or immediately prior to a divorce proceeding, I always tell my clients to be circumspect. You're under a microscope. Who knows what'll happen? So use your discretion. Right before a divorce or during a divorce proceeding isn't the time necessarily to bring a new person in. I don't think it's best for the children right away because they're coping with the divorce. They don't have to cope with another person coming in. And you just give somebody a bullet or a weapon in their arsenal to claim that you shouldn't have the kids or that you're doing something inappropriate. We've talked a lot about being prepared, and knowledge is power. So what I would suggest to anyone contemplating a divorce, whose spouse may be contemplating a divorce, who's uncertain, who's thinking of separating, to call me. Put it bluntly, my phone number in Bannockburn is 847-405-9500, Chicago 312-782-3456. We'll set up a consultation, we'll talk for as long as it takes for me to answer your questions and give you advice on a go-forward basis on how to move forward on what may be a very difficult but important time in your life.
Thanks so much, Drew. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this interview, and thanks for sharing all this vital information.
My pleasure.